I like Joel Klatt a lot. I think he has almost lost his mind. Drake Toll locked on Big 12. So Joel Klatt goes on the Colin Cowherd show, Drake, and says that if Deion Sanders stays healthy, Colorado can contend for a Big 12 championship. Now, let me get ahead of the Colorado fans who will deem me a hater no matter what I say, but I'm going to make this point anyway because this has been my position on Colorado for a long time. I really like their offseason because they have addressed the line of scrimmage through the portal in a significant way. They also have five-star offensive tackle Jordan Seaton coming in. Maybe he starts, maybe he doesn't. But again, placing more of an emphasis there, that's good. They're going to be a better team. I have been on they're a bowl team for a long time. Their win total of 4.5 came out. I came on the show and blasted it for being ridiculously absurd. It since got bumped up to 5.5. Is it because of this show? I don't know. You tell me. But I do not see a world in which they contend for a Big 12 championship. Do you?
Look, Joe Klatt's got to put food in his family. We all do. We all say things sometimes that we come to regret later on in life. And sometimes that relates to love or war or the Colorado Buffaloes football team and Deion Sanders. For Joel Klatt in this situation, I don't even think it's clickbait. I think the Colorado hype has died down. People are not talking about Deion near as much. There's the prevalent thought that he won't be at Colorado next year. Nobody is gaining off of viewership from Colorado because there really is no offseason buzz. Honestly, most of the storylines have been negative for Colorado, the school that brought in 42 transfers this year. That is, the formula didn't work last year. They won 4 games. And to say that it will work this year would be asinine given what happened last year. And the schedule is not great. You have Kansas State, or you have road games against UCF and Arizona in the first half of your schedule. You go to Lubbock, Texas. You face Utah. You go to the road to Kansas. And then you end the season with Oklahoma State, who returns with everybody. It's not a good spot to be in. There's not a lot of continuity with Colorado, aside from the Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter conversation. And those are 2 of the best players in all of college football. Problem is, there are 20 other guys who have to be on the field. So if you look at just the roster, you ask 24/7, who's the best team in college football based off recruit rankings? Not in college football, but the Big 12 at least. It's Colorado, the only school that touts Power 5, 5-star, 4-star, across-the-board guys. But they didn't win with it last year. And the conversation right now is not about continuity with Colorado. And that.
Well, okay, let me jump in there because no, they didn't win at the highest level last year. But number one, they were in a better conference in last year's Pac-12 compared to this year's Big 12. And I know that there are Big 12 fans that disagree with that notion, but this is just objectively true. And so that I think is one part of it. And their non-conference success, I think, was demonstrative of that. They beat 2 teams that were pushing for bowl eligibility, and they weren't able to beat anybody except a lowly 3-9 ASU team in Pac-12 play. So that's the first thing. Second thing, they added all those transfers. They were a better football team than the year before. That's not arguable either. That is an objective fact. You have real data to back that up. They played better. They looked better. Their record was better. I expect them to be better again this season, but I'm glad you brought up the schedule because this is part of what I think gets overlooked in Joel's statement of, yeah, they're going to be a contender for the Big 12 championship. I think that's not so much pumping up Colorado excessively as it is overlooking what other teams in the Big 12 have done and what Colorado's schedule is. It is not an easy schedule. I think it's part of the reason their win total initially came out so low. And then Vegas, probably had a bunch of money come in because people realized, well, they're not winning 4 games again. Like, they're going to be a better team, which I agree with wholeheartedly and have for a long time. But to say they're suddenly going to be at Utah's level, they're going to be at Kansas State's level, they're going to be at Kansas's level, all teams which they have to play, by the way. Now, the Arizona one is interesting. I think they could go into Tucson and win that game. I have not settled on a prediction for that game. There are very few games in which I have settled on an outright prediction here. We're still in the month of June. Save that for the end of July and going into August, which we will definitely get to at that time on this very show. But I think that's a game that they're capable of winning. I think Arizona's a pullback team with Brent Brennan coming in and the guys that they've lost from a year ago. And Colorado almost beat them in Boulder. Arizona needed a last-second field goal to win. If that game were in Boulder, I think I would pick Colorado to win. But regardless, they have to go at Arizona. They have to go at UCF. Those are not easy games. They have to go at Kansas. They have to go... They have to play Utah. Like, this is a brutal, brutal schedule. And I think you're overlooking the fact that they're playing the top 4 or 5 odds teams to win the Big 12 this year on the same schedule. It's just, this is not the year for Colorado to go get a Big 12 title.
But I get it. I get where Joel Klatt's coming from in the essence of, great quarterback and unbelievable two-way player who turned a ton of heads last season. Team must be good. Sure, Colorado could go 6-6. If Joel Klatt had said 6-6 Colorado, even 7-5, I'm probably not burning any houses down. But compete for Big 12 title. We're talking about the same team where the coach's son took to his Instagram story to ask players to join the team.
Well, he's still a very good player.
That doesn't dilute the player. It dilutes the program when the coach's son is posting on his Instagram story, hey, if you want to know what's real and what it's about, come join the Colorado program. And some third stringer at Henderson State's going, ho, this is my chance.
Henderson State shout out. That's a first here on Locked On College Football.
Philadelphia, Arkansas. And again, 42 commits came in. 8 of them were 4 stars. 8 of them were 4 stars. Utah had 3. That was the second best transfer class in the Big 12 this season. And Colorado did that by and large last year. Their portal class was unbelievable. And everybody thought, oh, wow, there are enough 5 stars there that they can compete. And down the line, they didn't win. They went 4-8, and the schedule doesn't get much easier. You see, again, 6-6 Colorado. Hell of a quarterback. Maybe the best in the country at the end of the year. If you told me Deion Sanders at the end of the season is the best quarterback in the nation, I'm not shocked. If you told me that Travis Hunter is the best overall player in the country, I'm not shocked. If you told me Colorado's 9-3 competing for a Big 12 title, oh boy, I got some oceanfront property in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, right next to Henderson State to sell you.
I have a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you as well, because I think 9-3 would be like the absolute everything goes right. They get a break, a major player on another team who's tough gets injured. Like if Jalen Daniels gets hurt when they put and Cam Rising and Avery Johnson, then maybe if they don't have to go up in it against any of those guys. And this overlooks the fact as well. You're talking about 9-3, 8-4. Can they get to that range? They have a week 2 non-conference game. First of all, anybody overlooking North Dakota State on August 29th is a fool, is an absolute fool. If you think, that's going to be an easy one. Like, I think Colorado wins the game. I don't know how easy that win is going to be. Rarely ever is for when you take on the Bison.
On a Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night. Everyone's going to be watching. It's going to be great. Week 2, they go at Nebraska. Are we just like writing that? Oh, that's a win. Oh yeah, they're winning. That, like, excuse me, a year 2 Matt Rule with improved quarterback play. Now their offense, talked about this recently on the show. Their offense can't be much worse than last year, and they almost made a bowl game. They had a better record than Colorado with a worse offense. Now their defense was very good. Colorado's defense was very, very bad. Colorado should be a little bit better on that side of the ball. But here's a fun stat for you, Drake, that I don't think is going to play out this year for Nebraska. They did not have a single receiver over 315 yards receiving.
Good.
Their leading receiver had 310 yards on the season.
I don't host Locked On College Football, but I still don't think that's good.
It's not good. So like that Nebraska game, like when you talk about what Colorado's record will be, now, does that specifically pertain to contending for the Big 12 championship? Not inherently, no. I think it does, however, speak to the quality of football team that Colorado has and just the brutal schedule that they're going to play. They're going to have to work just to go 2-1. They play Colorado State. They almost lost that game.
If they go 3-0 to start the year, then
it's outstanding.
I look at Joel Klatt, I'm like, oh, shoot, wait a second. The same way last year we all did that with Colorado. They were 3-0, and everybody's going, rank them top 15. Colorado, Deion Sanders, he's the second coming. And then it didn't work out. However, the one little piece that I will give to the Locked On Big 12 listeners who are also Colorado fans who thinks that I hate them, I don't hate you. I don't. I can't buy in yet. I haven't been given enough to buy in. But if there's anything I point to and say, hey, wait a second, it is last year was like down the stretch, Oregon State, Washington State was a blowout, but like Oregon State, Arizona, Utah down the stretch, Colorado was in those games. Like squarely, you could tell there's improvement toward the end of the year. If that is the trajectory and the transfers all buy in, it's still a hell of a roster. It's a stupid talented roster if you ask 24/7 Sports. The best.
And it's still a brutal schedule.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
You can make a case that's the toughest schedule in the Big 12. You got to play the top 5 teams in top 4 or 5. Like, who else has Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Utah on the schedule? And you have to go at UCF. Absolute craziness there. Drake Toll, Locked On Big 12. Check him out on YouTube. Drake, always appreciate it.
Spencer, it's a blast. That was myself and Spencer McLaughlin talking Colorado. I still think that it's absurd and wild and crazy. Come back tomorrow for more. It's the weekend. Fenway Park for the Bananas. Come back Monday for more Big 12 news. This has been and it always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. No se grande.